now we deal with today's topic, is the Nigerian factor. I'm sure you've heard it said all your life. You get to a place advertised to have a program starting for 10 o'clock, such as this one, and then you find that it doesn't start until 12 o'clock. You sat there, but it just didn't start. And when you would engage somebody you think should know, they will summarize the entirety of the insanity you were lamenting. Say it's the Nigerian time, or you say it's the Nigerian factor. So you applied for an international passport. And when you applied for the international passport, they even told you it's going to take 2 weeks. There's a portal all designed for it. First thing first, you get to the portal and you find the frustration of network that is so slow that it's not even compatible with the website or the portal. You labor at it and then you wake up at odd hours and crazy hours of the day, but the infrastructure does not support the vision, or rather the intention. There is a disconnect. Now you have to go there physically. You know the story. It does not bear repetition. And when you ask, they tell you, it's the Nigerian factor. Every time there is a dysfunction in the system and you complain, it's the Nigerian factor. Every time something is slated to start at 10, it starts at 11, it's the Nigerian factor. Every time they ask you, who do you know? Because you needed to get something done somewhere and you get asked, who do you know? It's the Nigerian factor. Every time I had occasion to have this with you, and then you heard the alarm going off that NEPA has brought light. Uniquely Nigerian grammar, NEPA has brought light. They have brought light. Before the Nigerian child is up to 3 years old, he or she already understands exactly what it means when they say up NEPA, or sometimes off NEPA, or NEPA has brought light. We've normalized insanity because it's the Nigerian factor. Yeah. When religious obligation demands that you do something that is completely against common sense, and it is done and it explains your insanity to the next person eloquently, it's the Nigerian factor. All kind of weird adaptations, because we're in Nigeria, it's the Nigerian factor. Have you noticed that airports all over the world, there's usually a corner exclusively reserved for travelers to Nigeria so that they may repackage their products inside the bags? You have an entire section. It's just you, because we are traveling to Nigeria. They already presume, they plan with us in mind. I've seen it at Heathrow, seen it at Gatwick. It's always there in a corner for the Nigerian. The Nigerian factor means that let me not even begin to go into the detail of that just yet. But understand this. Weird adaptations and extreme trauma has led to the existence of what we just generally label resourcefulness. We are resilient. The Yorùbá will say, "Ìyà ti mọ́ wọn lára." Suffering has become second nature. Because of the Nigerian factor, we've developed the Nigerian spirit. We're not feeling what we cure insanity with insanity. In response to the Nigerian factor, we have developed and evolved the Nigerian spirit. Madness cures madness. But when you speak to the Nigerian factor, I think it is critical to understand very quickly that what we are speaking to are the many things that happens in Nigeria that you do not find happening in other places. They are unique to Nigeria, but something better this. something battered this, because in order to fight a problem, you must understand the root of the problem. This is where I usually bring the analogy of you standing in front of the mango tree and demanding oranges. You need to cut the tree to get the orange. That mango tree has to go. So, how did we end up with these things that we have blithely labeled the Nigerian factor? The Nigerian factor. Let's be clear about something. What is called the Nigerian factor is essentially impunity. That is what happens in a place governed, because this is the dangerous thing. Usually, because this is the dangerous thing. Usually, countries are governed by law. Even totalitarian states are governed by law. North Korea, deemed totalitarian, is governed by law. Each person knows exactly what they may or may not do, and they know exactly what the consequences would be when they do those things that they are not meant to do. So, because as repressive as you may deem the laws in those places to be, the law rules, persons knows their rights and obligations in those places. But when you have a dangerous place such as Nigeria, which is necessarily governed by impunity, what you find very quickly is that you develop what we now label Nigerian fact. Because how do you govern a place with impunity? When a place has the colonial legacy that Nigeria has, where the state is alien to the people, and the state is alien because the colonial edifice that undergirded Nigeria was rooted in fraudulence. And that same fraudulence that battered the Nigerian entity has been passed to the Nigerian state. It is a fraud. Let's break it down. How do you have an alien state? An alien state is the state that is divorced from the will of the governed. When a state exists in spite of the will of the governed, an alien state evolves. The Nigerian state as a colonial contraption was an alien state. It was not responsible to the governed, it was responsible to the British and the shareholders of that enterprise. And the shareholders were not the Nigerian people themselves. And with the formation of the Nigerian state and its flag independence, a new set of owners have begun to administer the alien state, and the Nigerian state, to varying degrees, has been an alien state since 1966. The will of the people it governs has not been involved in the governance of the people, and because it could not allow the will of the people to rule, you had what you found in 1993 with June 12. You found what we found again in 2023 with Bulaba. The will of the people is not involved in the governance of the alien state, and that alien state that has refused to allow the people's vote to count has occasioned a situation where, because you cannot hold the state accountable for its many shortcomings and failings, you find yourself powerless. So you find workarounds. These workarounds are what feeds the alien state and its sustenance, and what has created what me and you are calling the Nigerian factor.